Wow, that's amazing. Victor, you know, we're talking about groundnuts. And we're just chatting here as we watch that story. Kenyans are very hardworking. But what is happening on the ground? What is happening?
Yeah, so I think the ingenuity and innovativeness of the Kenyan population is, is there to be displayed and everyone to see. I think it's just the support framework that is really lacking in the country.
And that is true. There needs to be intentional effort. Like that gentleman is doing an amazing job. But speaking of SMEs in the country, with this debt situation, because, you know, we borrow a lot, and correlation between borrowing a lot and the SME sector, oftentimes we just jump, you know, like, okay, we're borrowing money, but how's the small and medium-sized enterprises benefiting from it? Are there proper policies to ensure that SMEs are benefiting greatly even from these credit facilities?
Yeah, so I think maybe just to take us back is to look at the environment in 2021 when the pandemic hit. And of course, government rolled out the stimulus package. And the question that we were asking is government gave some, monetary CBK action around, banks to, releasing, I think, 35 billion for onward lending to SMEs. There were tax breaks, etc. So the question is, if you were to take the example of the Nakuru business person doing groundnuts, the question you would ask is, do you think the 35 billion that was released through banks was able to reach him? Do you think the tax measures under the stimulus package were able to reach him? I think the jury is still out there, but we contend that I don't think that program really was able to reach out to SMEs, given that around 79% of them are informal. So it means they're not really playing in the formal economic system. So just looking at that intervention, I don't ideally see, those kind of interventions reaching SMEs. And one of the things I think, and we had this debate, I think, with CS Petty as well as David D, was can government really look at or consider giving cash grants and looking for this informal sector SMEs in terms of where they interact, either through their circles, through their chamas, through their associations, and give them a direct cash grant, similar to what is being given to the vulnerable in society through the broader, resilience building of government towards the population.
Definitely. So direct cash injection into the economy. And even when COVID restrictions hit and the formative days of COVID, the discussion was, how will we be able to get food for our children? How about the government take some money and distribute to their houses? And the argument was that with the money that you've given me, I'll be able to buy something from you who is selling it. And you will be able to buy something from somebody, and that will keep the money circulating. This issue of liquidity crunch in our economy, is that the only solution? Pump money directly into the economy, or do we have other solutions?
Yeah, so I think given that was an alternative policy or intervention from what government was proposing in terms of giving concession within this formal financial system. So the option was either give grants, especially to SMEs where 92% are small, 79% are informal, or give concessional loans, long-term loans to informal sectors and SMEs for them to really be able to, have some money to just be afloat. But I think as we've moved on, there are other options that are there. They might be a long stretch, but there is the TVET subsector, which government has really invested in the subsector. So these are the former polytechnics, etc. Yeah. So government has invested a lot of equipment in this in the education subsector and the TVET subsector, and I think conversations must start to see how the Juakali, your Kariako, your Kariobangi can be able to access this kind of equipments to raise their quality. But also, that's one aspect of collaboration. Another aspect is upskilling the Juakali sector, so that because this is the future manufacturing, can we be able to start upskilling the players or practitioners formally, or have a modality of upskilling them so they can produce better quality products.
Okay.
Lastly is around placing students who graduate from the various polytechnics or whatever to the Juakali sector, so that now you're creating jobs, but as well, on the other hand, you're building the capacity of the Juakali sector, number one, to produce good quality goods that can be exported, as well as, being able to absorb the students who are graduating annually, over 900,000, you can imagine.
Definitely. And there's a discussion that, we can go on for days and days, lots of details to cover, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. All right. So, onto something across the border. With the COVID-19 pandemic and the measures to curb it, many people across the world are spending more time at home. This has inspired two young ladies from Kigali, Rwanda, to start up a home decor business to help people make their homes more appealing. Both driven by their passion and love for nature, through research, they have come to understand everything